The Marion Finucane Show on RTE Radio 1.
The funeral took place yesterday of Stéphane Charbonnier, the editor of Charlie Hebdo. The Irish musician, Paddy Sherlock, was asked to perform at the close of proceedings, and he's on the phone now from Paris. Paddy, good morning to you. And
Good morning, Marion. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Tell me the background to all this, what happened, how many were there, all that kind of thing.
At the funeral?
Yeah.
Okay, the funeral yesterday, the part we took part in was the kind of official part, so you had the ministers and all the important people. So it was a big publicised ceremony before the private funeral, which was later for the family. So there's kind of it was national mourning again.
Right.
Just, I think there's a process. There's a whole grief thing that the whole country has to go through. You know.
Right, and it was your friend Patrick Pellew. Is he one of the cartoonists?
No, Pellew had a column. Pellew is not a cartoonist. Pellew is an A&E doctor, and he came to notice a few years ago when the heat wave was on, and he predicted that there'd be big trouble like within a week, and they'd be overrun, and he turned out to be right. And at the time, the ministers didn't listen to him.
Right.
So he became very famous then because he predicted. And I don't know if you remember that there was a summer with the heat wave.
I do remember it.
And
yes.
there was 15,000 people died unnecessarily.
That's right. And weren't there people who weren't claimed that were found in apartment blocks?
Yeah, well,
Awful.
absolutely. No, it was horrific at the time.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
he came to light for that because he'd said call in the big emergency plan. You have to open all the hospitals and everything else. And at the time, he wasn't listened to. And at the time, then he wrote a book, and then he became famous, and then he became a columnist in Charlie Hebdo.
All right, and he was the one that asked you if you would play.
Yeah, Patrick Fell is a friend of mine from years back. So, I knew him when he was a student, and we used to play music together. And he used to come to an awful lot of my gigs, and then he'd bring in Charb and Luz and a few other people quite regularly. The Charlie Hebdo people would turn up to my gigs.
Right.
And then we ended up then doing an album for them. They wanted to do a Christmas album, so my band did the music for that.
Oh, so you're well connected. What did you sing at the end?
Dirty Old Town. That was his choice, and apparently, although I didn't know that, but apparently that was Charb's favourite song. So he phoned me the day before yesterday, and it's the first contact I'd had with him. You know, because he's very mediatised, so it's hard to get in touch with him.
Right.
And I didn't want to bother him, so we didn't phone. I sent him a few emails and messages. So he called me and just said, "We need you. Please come and sing this, and please put a band together." So I managed in 24 hours to get 16 musicians.
Excellent.
And, the cream of the Paris music scene. And we turned up. We were taken out. It was actually quite interesting because we were all on a bus with a police escort whizzing us out up the wrong sides of the roads and everything. So that was a first for us.
Right. Well, that's rather nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it was nice to feel important for the day. Yes.
But you were glad to do the music and to get people clapping. On occasions like this, it's hard to know, if you'll pardon the pun, how to strike the right note.
It's terrible. I mean, I don't know if you saw the photo. The photo I sent, the photo that they picked up in the Irish Times was the band waiting to go on. And
yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, but the faces are just grim. And most of the people in that band are actually good friends of Pellew as well. And they would almost all have been Charlie Hebdo readers. So like but I think that's the whole point, is that there's a really personal connection between the people who were targeted and generally French people anyway.
Right.
I mean, the magazine didn't sell that many copies overall.
No, not at all.
But it punched way above its weight.
You say that Sharb, as you call him, had nothing against Muslims.
Nothing whatsoever. No, and they really mistook their target, because he was a militant person for equality, and all he was interested in was what the French called l'état laïque, the lay state. So there would be in French law there is no religion in the state.
Right.
It was completely separated. So he used to defend that because there's, from various churches, various wings of various churches, people trying to bring that law back. So attack's not the right word. He slagged off every church, you know.
Right.
And there's an interesting thing. There was in French newspapers they showed some. I don't know what the magazine was, but some Jesuit magazine. They published the covers that referred to the Pope and the Catholic Church, and I mean they got it just as much as there's as many pictures for the Pope as there are for Muhammad, you know. Right.
Except like the Pope isn't the god of the religion, if you know what I mean.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. They have a ferocious. They want to ferociously protect their right to free speech. So, as I said, he never once. I mean, it's the only thing that's there is the image of Muhammad, and even that is. I don't think French Muslims would be that obsessed by that, you know.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not a religious person, so I don't know that.
Right. Okay. Can I just before I let you go? What's the atmosphere like in Paris now? Is there an edginess around, particularly given what happened in Belgium yesterday?
There's an edginess, yeah, and people I think are afraid, and but they're very together. I mean, it's like. The town I loved so well, or something. They're what's the line? They're down, but they're not broken. You know,
right.
So they're really sticking together. I think probably Muslim people are afraid because there's attacks back at their community.
Yeah, mosques and the like.
That's something that has to be stopped. Like because if they go down that route, it gets very, very dangerous. You know, at the moment, it's still absolute extremists. So it's not. I mean, people should stop even using the word Islamist because it's nothing to do with Islam. It's just Charb said there was 15 crazy people in a cave somewhere. You know.
Yeah. Can I go back very briefly to your good friend Patrick Pellow? Is it true that he got you to... We're having big problems in this country at the moment with A&Es. I gather.
I know what you're going to ask, and the answer is true, yeah. Patrick Pellow was the head A&E guy at the Saint-Antoine Hospital, which is one of the biggest hospitals in Paris. And he organised a festival of art in the hospital. So, and it was the whole hospital. So he called me and said, "Okay, you got to come and play some festival." And I said, "Yeah, sure." And then he got me. We started like at the top floor in psychiatric, and we worked our way all the way down through palliative and finished up in A&E, which was very strange because people were kind of being brought in trolleys, and we were playing music in the corner. But he knew what he wanted.
Different approach, isn't it?
Pardon?
Different approach.
But that's Pellow. Pellow he's a great man, seriously, and I think you'll see a lot more of him as well. I think he's a consistent truth teller, which is a very dangerous thing to be.
Right,
but
kind of a good thing too.
I think he's going to turn out to be some sort of philosopher for his generation, I think.
Okay, listen, Paddy, very nice to talk to you. That's Paddy Sherlock.
Marion.
Not at all. Thank you very much indeed. Singing at the Charlie Hebdo editor's funeral yesterday, and we'll take a break.